This is Vijay. So a little bit about my background. So myself is Vijay Pandey, and I have around a decade of experience, and I am the professional instructor since 2016. I'm currently working as a principal architect for the MNCs, and I do hold a couple of certificates such as CCI Data Center, CCI Security, Kubernetes, Azure Cloud, and Oracle CCD, as well as the uh, CISSP. So this is my background. So today we are going to talk about CCNP. So this is the class for the CCNP badge. Okay, so CCNP is a certified Cisco certified network professional certification. And in the CCNP, there are a couple of modules are there in the Cisco CCNP. So this is a module we are going to talk about the CCNP data center module. In a CCNP data center module is what is the prerequisite and what we are going to cover in a CCNP data center. We are going to take a look today. In a CCNP data center, if I go to the Cisco website, if you go to the Cisco website for CCNP, so in a CCNP, these are the some uh, exams, core exams. Some skills you need to have for in order to get the CCNP exam, as well as the in order to get the CCNP knowledge, you need to have the little bit background of the s- routing switching. But if there is any prerequisite for CCNP, answer is no. There is no such a prerequisite to cover the CCNP exam. You can directly check the CCNP in details from the networking website also. You can hear section, you can go from the live master classes, then you can click on the CCNP to CCI data center master program. Here you can get that all the here you can get that all the information about the CCNP and what exam we are going to cover in the particular session. So and what is a exam cost for this, and how many questions it's gonna ask, what is the passing score of it, and what is the level of the certification or the knowledge you require to uh, crack this exam. Okay, so what is the prerequisite for this? So you need to have the basic understanding of the IT industry knowledge, and you need to have the CCNP any certification. That's the preferred, but if you do not have certification and you just have the knowledge, that's also is fine. If you're having I would say that 1 to 2 years of experience in networking, that will add the advantage in the CCNP. If you do not have that, also is okay. We are going to also cover this half part of the CCNP with the CCNA with the CCNP, and then you need to have at least fundamental knowledge of the data and the networking, because this is the professional level class. It's not going to be the what is the networking. So you need to and you should have the CCNA level knowledge. Okay. So in the curriculum, what we are going to cover. So basically, in the CCNA, we are going to cover the multiple modules here. Okay, if I divide the CCNA as a modular, so we are going to cover the LAN, then we are going to cover the SAN, we are going to cover the security, we are going to cover the automation. There are 5 modules which we are going to cover in the CCNP. In the LAN section, this is the LAN. Here we are going to cover the uh, routing, switching, as well as the we are going to cover the overlay sorry, overlay protocols such as VXLAN and EVPN and OTP. We're also going to cover the ACI. In the ACI, it's going to be the advanced level of ACI course, where we are going to discuss about what is the ACI from scratch, and how to the fabric build, access policy, BMM, tenant, external communication, all sort of troubleshooting, automation, all the things we are going to discuss here. Then we are going to talk about the uh, unicast, multicast, broadcast packet uh, flow, These things we are going to cover in the LAN. Then come to the uh, compute. In the compute, we are going to talk about the servers. In the servers, because since you are preparing for the data center, CCNP data center, and you should be, as a data center engineer, you should be having the knowledge of the even storage and SAN as well as the computing knowledge. You should have that because you're not the security engineer, you're not the uh, routing switching engineer or campus engineer. You're going to be sitting in a data center configuration, and you have to know that all these things about the data centers. So data center is what? Data center is all about the your deploying the servers, deploying the your services inside the critical services inside the your warehouse or your data center co-location data centers. Okay. So in that compute, what we are going to cover, we are going to cover the UCS B series, UCS C series. Then we are going to talk about the hyperflex. So these things we are going to talk about in a compute node section. And in the third module, we are going to talk about storage. Okay. In the storage, what we are going to talk about, we are going to talk about the switching, storage switching. We are going to talk about FCIDs, because NPV, NPV, and PIV. We are going to talk about. We are going to talk about FC, NS. We are going to talk about the zoning. We are going to talk about the iSCSI. We are going to talk about uh, boot from SAN. Okay, storage and info. We are going to talk about FCOE. We are going to talk about the FC. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in storage modules, which is I think no institute covered this storage module as part of the CCNP. We are the only one who cover that storage as well in a CCNP program for the data center. Okay. Then we are going to talk about the automation and security. In the automation, what we are going to cover here, uh, we are going to cover that EEM. We are going to cover the uh, bash shell. We are going to cover the REST API. We are going to cover the Ansible. We are going to cover the Python. These are the if I say the Ansible and Python, it won't be going to be the pure programming class. It will be the pure network uh, best practices as well as the it's going to be the basic to professional level knowledge for this Ansible and the Python, how to use, for example, Puppet, how to use DCNM, how to use PowerShell, how to use Ansible Tower, how to use Postman, how to use Python SDK. These are all the things we are going to cover in the security section. What we are going to cover here is the security section will be combining all these technologies, all these modules will be part of the security, and in each section we are for each modules we are going to cover the AAA, RBAC, right, ACI contract, and the micro segmentation. Then we are going to talk about COPP, control plane protection. Okay, we are going to also talk about the fabric binding. These are all the modules we are going to talk about the ACLs. We are going to talk about your netting, all these things we are going to talk about the security section. Okay, there will be a few more topics will be available here. So these are the uh, uh, I would say that we are going to have the 5 modules. First module is going to have, we are going to cover the LAN section where we are going to talk about pure LAN networking, including the what devices we use in a data center, what technology we are going to use in data centers from scratch. In compute, we are going to talk about the what devices we are going to use and what technology we are going to use. In the storage, similar thing we are going to talk about what devices, modules, and what protocol we are going to use. Same thing in an automation. And combining for all the devices, all the 4 modules or 3 modules, we are going to talk about the security. Okay, how we are going to configure, how we are going to secure these devices or these modules using the security features of these devices. Okay. Now, what devices we are going to use and what devices we are going to cover in each modules here. So let's talk about here devices. Okay, these are the modules. In the devices we are going to talk about in LAN, we are going to cover the Nexus 7K. We are because 5K we can cover that. We are going to cover the Nexus 2K. We are going to cover the Nexus 9000. In the 9000, there are various type of devices are there: 9300, 9500, modular chassis, as well as the fixed chassis. These all the things we are going to talk about. What is the supervisor modules? What is the line card? What is the fabric modules? These all the things we are going to talk about, which includes that what software we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about the NXOX and ACI. These are the two things which we are going to talk about in a LAN modules. What about the compute modules? We are in a compute modules. We are going to talk about the FIs, which we call that, and 6K devices. We are going to talk about the UCS B series modules, UCS C series module. We are going to talk about S series modules, E series modules. Lot of modules are there in a uh, compute hardware, which we call that, which we have call that M4, sorry, M2 to M4, M5. Then we have L2 to L4, L5. These are the some modules of the servers which we are going to talk about here. Which so we are not going to talk about the hardware which are uh, no, which are not in very famous state, or we do not use too much in the data centers in real production environment. Based on my experience, what we have used and what most of the industries data centers use for these hardware, those hardware we are going to focus more rather than focusing everything as part of the curriculum. So this curriculum has been designed to reflect that 80% of your production and real time hardware deployment as well as the technology deployment. Okay, rather than covering the just syllabus covering is doesn't give you that the real picture. Provide the real time training based on the real time production deployment, as well as the based on the our experience with the real environment. Okay, in the storage, what we are going to talk about, we are going to talk about the Nexus and 9K storage. Then we are going to talk about MDS. We are going to talk about the VMware stuff little bit. There we are going to talk about the ACI also as part of the Nexus 9K. These are the some hardware we are going to talk about in the storage module. What about the automation? We are going to talk about Ansible tower. We are going to talk about the SDK. We are to talk about the draft. What is the draft? Draft means deploying ACI from Excel. TEF. We are going to talk about. It means if you do not know anything, how you can deploy the, how you can, you know, how you can do the codeless coding. That's what we can say that here. Codeless coding is the new term for the automation. So if you do not know the programming, you should be still able to achieve your deployment using the just Excel sheet. So this is what we industries nowadays are moving towards, rather than rather than focusing on the learning the Python, learning the ML, learning the XML. We should be now focusing on the codeless programming. It means someone is giving you the just Excel sheet, just fill that code. Would there going to be one application? It should automatically generate the a Python script or ML script and JSON and XML for you, rather than writing the whole script, which is not the job of the network engineer. Okay. Then we are going to talk about also Postman. Okay. And we are going to talk about the NXOS programming. We are going to talk about ACI programming. Also, we are going so when I say the NXOS programming and the ACI programming, it will also cover the compute programming also. Okay, which all the three modules we are going to cover in the programming section. Okay, so these are the some modules which are part of the CCNP data center. Is there any confusion, any doubt anyone has? Please let me know that. Okay. All right. So let's start with the CCNP LAN section. So what we are going to talk about in a LAN section. So what is the data center? First, we have to understand this. Okay. What is DC? Just give me a second. Okay. So what is the data center? Why we call that data center? Why we need data center? So similarly, so any companies who are service provider for any kind of services who need the physical facility to organize your critical applications such as your your web servers, your database servers, your applications, all those services you need to deploy. If you need to deploy somewhere these services, in this case you need a data center. So we call that a data center. A DC is a physical facility that organization use to house their critical applications and data. When I say the applications and data, such as your web servers, your application servers, your database servers, you have some, you're providing, for example, you are the banking, environment, and you are having a web servers or hosting, or you have deployed some website, you have deployed some gaming platform, yeah, and you are providing some sort of a, egress services or ingress services. These all things will be deployed in a data center. Now, in order to provide the networking to all these services, you need a high-end devices which has which should have a lot of features, right? In order to get that these applications up and running with the secure environment, with the better performance, with the better scalability, there are multiple solutions we deploy around that. Data center has all the, if you know the data center, you will get experience in the firewalling, you will get experience in the routers, routing, switching, you will get experience in a storage, you will get experience in a servers, you will get experience in the applications, controllers. So these are the kind of data center is a facility where you will have to apply all sort of networking concept, routing, switching modules, data center modules, security modules, your all the things. Okay, this is what is a data center is. Now data center meaning has been changed in the last 65 years. You can say that the first wave of the data center was to deploy that monolithic and you can say the physical base servers on the on premises, and which will be managed by the IT team. Now the second, so there are three generations of the data centers. Okay, Gen 1, and this was where we deploy the physical based servers based on premises and managed by the internal IT teams. Now, if you come to the second generation, what has been changed in the data centers in last 65 years? In the second generation, we have virtualized the virtualization of the infrastructure that supported applications. So in a very first generation, if you want to deploy the applications, web or storage, there was no virtualization capability which was available in the data center. If you wanted to have that like 32 GB RAM, you have to deploy the multiple different servers in order to achieve that 32 GB RAM. There was no failover flexibility. There was no kind of a 99.99 availability available. There was also space issue. There was also a lot of challenges were there. There was automation issue. There was security issues in generation first of data center. But that was the very early concept in a data center. In a second generation data centers, what industry came up with the virtualization concept. It means uh, to provide the to improve your resources within the data center, to provide the mobility in the workstation workload across the multiple devices, across the multiple physical devices. Industry came up with this concept called the virtualization, where you can virtualize your hardware just like your laptop, right? In your laptop, how many, if you go back to the behind that 20 years of your laptop enhancement, you had concept called the single application running, right? You cannot install in a same hardware window and the Linux at the same time. Now, if you notice that in last few years, all the laptop, doesn't matter you purchase from the any vendor, Dell, HP, Lenovo, Apple, all these laptop hardware are compatible for the multiple virtualization. When I say the virtualization, it means within your iOS, you can install the further more applications within your laptop. You can virtualize your laptop environment. You can have the type 2 level virtualization in your environment, where you can deploy, you can run the virtual machines from your laptop, multiple virtual machines. In early version, if you have laptop, you cannot run that virtual machines on top of the laptop. That was the virtual machine. Your laptop OS was the virtual machine for the applications. Now if you want to have the multiple OS running on top of your laptop, just like a micro services, and these kind of things is possible in the second, since the second generation of the data center improvement. Now if we come to the third generation of the data centers, here we see that here we are seeing the move to cloud and hybrid cloud. When I say the cloud, so as a data center engineer, you are going to have the more job than the as a security engineer, as a router switching engineer, as a any legacy engineers. The advantage of here is in cloud. You need to have the cloud is nowhere is not something is deployed somewhere in a sky, right? It's going to be the physical data center where someone is owning the data center, and they are having like lakhs of compute and storage and networking devices. And that is a kind of rental data center for me. Here we were owning the data center. Here client were owning the data center, and that was the issue for some of the clients. If you have just 10 applications, right, you cannot deploy the 10 data center for 10 applications. The reason is data center is not about just deploying the data center. You have to maintain it. You have to maintain the team. You have to do all sort of things for to in order to up and in order to make your data center up and running, in order to make your applications up and running here. Now in the generation third, we have concept called renting out the data centers, which we call the cloud. Okay, so if you are the small organization or a kind of micro organization, you can just onboard, you can rent your data center in a cloud, such as AWS, Azure, Google, anywhere, and you can ask them to provide you the resources like 10 server resource, 5 server resource, where you can install your applications, right? So these are the three generation of the data centers we are going to learn. The advantage of generation third here is you still gonna have the lot of jobs, but you need to have the automation. Okay, this is the key point where if you are going for the cloud service provider, for example AWS, if you're targeting Amazon or Google or Oracle, a lot of other companies are there for the automation for the cloud provider, right? When I say the cloud provider, they have the lacks of the compute, storage, and networking. In order to manage and control or provide a seamless operation and the management, you need to understand the automation. Without automation, these company will not allow you to apply the job. Okay, this is the must skill nowadays for the data center engineer. Now, if you want to, learn about the Ansible, so I would not say that you should having the automation knowledge from the all the 4 5 languages. You can target any one language. For Ansible, you want to learn. Just focus on the Ansible end to end and get the mastery of the Ansible. That's it. If you want to learn the Python, just focus on the Python and get the end to end of the uh, knowledge of the Python. Here we are going to talk about everything because this is a part of the syllabus. Because I don't want to force anyone to learn this or this. Based on your choice, you can choose that which one is the easiest for you, and you can based on that you can apply that. Getting the automation lab and all is very easy. You do not need separate lab for automation. You can just install the automation from your laptop itself. Unlike the these 3 modules where you need a lab for the practical. Here you can do the practical without having a lab. Okay. Any questions? Anything, guys? You have anything?
So basically, Vijay sir, generation 2 is mostly used by service provider network, or generation 3
So
also.
So is there's a two things in generation two. If you are a service provider, right, and you have the thousands and lakhs of the customer, then this generation two is useful and it's a cost saving. But if you have the smaller organization and you have, for example, few hundred or a couple of applications which you want to deploy somewhere, then cloud is a cheaper option for you.
So this is basically small enterprise customer, right? Generation 3.
Yes. Yes. For example, if you are the bank, Indian bank, right? For example, Yes Bank, HDFC Bank. And so there is some criteria for the RBI governance also, right? You need to have the physical data centers. You should be providing all the services, available based in the, in India only. And it should be this location. So in this case, generation two is also preferred. However, nowadays customers are preferring the both the option generation two, generation three. For example, if you're a big organization, right? So what they are saying here is, for example, this is the big banking environment. Okay, banking environment. What you can do here is you can deploy the hybrid model. It means few services you can onboard in a cloud. Okay, sorry. Cloud few services you're going to have only still on on-prem, and you
So it
can
is
just connect that
basically
between them.
depend upon if you are like able to provide services, then you deploy on prem, and if
Yeah.
you don't have those services, then you purchase take from the cloud only, right?
Exactly. So cloud is not a cheaper option. Okay, if you are the bigger organization, you have to purchase a lot of resource here. But the advantage on the on-premises here is if you purchase here like 20 32 GB RAM, right? So one VM, you have to charge for this VM as a subscription base, right? Here, if you purchase that particular server, that's a one-time cost you're gonna have. Okay, the only disadvantage here is you have to maintain this hardware in order to maintain that you have to have the team, right? As well as you, if there is anything happen to that hardware, that nowadays all the companies are providing the hardware guarantee. I think it's at 1 to 3 year, right? If anything happen, you can still get that details. However, in this if you compare that, for long run, on premises is a best option for cost saving. If you are running for just 10 applications or even 100 applications, then cloud is the best option for you. Again, it's based on the use cases. If you are too much storage density, you have the too much storage density applications or the resource density applications, then cloud is not best option because few cloud providers charge more what we have in a what we get servers, you know,
So
in
it
on
depends upon
premises.
business also,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
based on the use cases. We cannot say that it's really based on the
Mhm.
money and all. It's based on the use cases, what you want, what customer want. So the only advantage for cloud here is it provides a 99.99 point availability. That's the advantage you get from the cloud. Okay, if you have the critical application, whereas in on premises you can provide that 99 point, but you have to have the bigger team to manage that, and you have to have the overhead for this physical hardware.
So
Okay.
mostly data centers are deployed with generation 2 and generation 3, right? Mostly.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Because
okay.
generation one is no longer in
Mhm.
concept now. So because these devices, some of the devices has been end of life, end of support now. So now
Mhm.
only few devices Cisco offers. So if you talk about you do not want to go for the Cisco, the concept will be still same for you. Whether if you're going for the Cisco, Arista, Aruba,
Mhm.
Juniper, anywhere, the
Mhm.
all the concept, all the protocol will be still same. Whether you are if you are having knowledge of the VXLAN EVPN, you can
Mhm.
apply this protocol in any vendor,
Mhm.
irrespective of vendor. These are the beauty of the protocols. If you want to deploy the storage for the NetApp, right, for the EMC Square, for TeleMC, for Cisco on Cisco devices or VMware, concept going to be the same for you. All the protocol will be the same for you. Whether you are deploying in a cloud, whether you're deploying in on premises, protocol will be same.
Mhm.
Okay,
It
few
is not the
protocols will be here and
vendors.
there. Right? Yeah, come again.
Yeah, it is not the vendor specific protocols.
It's
There.
not a vendor, yeah. It's not vendor dependent. It's independent protocols we have here. Some protocols will be vendor specific, but those protocols are specific for each vendor, right? For
Mhm.
example, in a data center, Cisco data center networking, we have the BPC concept, right? We
Mhm.
call we have concept of OTP. Some of the third party vendor, they do not support this BPC or stacking. They have their own protocol to provide the HA for their devices, right? So these kind of things we have. For example, Cisco support the Hyperflex, right, as
Mhm.
well as the UCS BCC's model. If you are
Mhm.
going ahead with the HP servers, Dell servers, or Quantum servers, they have their own mechanism to do that. Okay,
Mhm.
but yeah, concept wise, they are going to have the same. It
Okay.
won't make any difference. Okay? So, is there any questions, any doubt before we move forward? Okay. Okay. So let's explore the LAN part here. So how data center looks like. In data center scenario, there are multiple types of topology we deploy in a data center. Okay. As I said, data center is not restricted to just on premises. If you are the cloud providers are having a more data center engineer than the on premises engineer, because they are the heavy depend they have the heavy dependency on the data centers. They are eventually deploying the compute nodes from the Cisco, from the all the vendors, right? They do not have any kind of networking or the manufacturing unit for them to you know uh, deploy the separate kind of devices there. They still use the same Nexus, same ACI, same uh, Juniper, Aruba, Arista in the data center to in order to host the cloud services on that. Okay. Now, if we talk about that Nexus part here, in the Nexus product family, which is a part of the core concept of the Cisco data center networking, is the Nexus core family. Uh, Nexus family. We have these devices are much more reliable and scalable in the data center design, and much more proven device compared to the other vendor. So that's the reason most of the customer prefer to go with the Nexus devices. Okay. So we have the generational wise Nexus also. In generation one, we had the Nexus and 5K and 6K. Okay. In the generation two, Gen 2, we have the Nexus 5K, Nexus 7K, and 2K devices. Okay. In generation three, when I say the generational, it will have just programming integration enhancement. Okay. It will not have any extra, you know, other concept other than the what we already have in each generation. The capacity has been increased. 1.2 protocol supports has been increased. The capacity of the programming of the hardware has been increased. Okay. These are the generational. Here we have the Nexus 7K and 9K devices. Okay. These are the generation 3 devices. What all the software we use in each generation here? Okay, so if I say here, what are the main components which we are going to have in each generation here? Just okay. So here in generation two, what extra we have? VXLAN and programming interface. It started from generation two. Now in generation two, full programmability has been integrated to the generation 3 devices, as well as it has a SDN, software defined networking. When I say the software defined networking, you will have the multiple interface to configure these devices. Before we had one option, we call that command line, right? CLI line interface. Here we have the CLI plus automation. Here we have the CLI plus programming interface plus REST API interface. You have three different type of interfaces, and as well as you have cell interface. Okay, you have couple of interfaces for the generation 3 devices. It means you have much more flexible options to support that. Here we have the 3-tier architecture. Okay, here we have 3-tier and 2-tier architecture. Here we have leaf and spine architecture, which is much more improved architecture compared to the all this 3-tier or 2-tier architecture we have. Okay, we do not have in a leaf and spine architecture. You do not have the clone. You do not have the ring. You do not have the star topology. All this topology we get rid of from the in the generation 3 data centers devices. Okay, what uh, extra things which we offer compared to the other vendors? So Cisco is leader. Cisco is a leader in SDN provider. Okay, when I say the SDN provider in the LAN, when I say the SDN, it also leader in a LAN in a compute. Okay, for storage, Cisco is not the leader. Cisco, other than Cisco, there are competitor in the market such as NetApp, EMC Square. Those devices are much more famous. However, still Cisco provide the end-to-end integrated solution for data center. That's the reason Cisco offer the MDS, as well as Cisco also offered the VMware integration with the Cisco devices, Nutanix integration, a lot of other third-party integration to in order to make the compatibility with the Cisco device. Now, if we talk about the SDN here, Cisco offer multiple SDN solution. Okay, Cisco offer multiple SDN solutions. So let me define here. Cisco offer LAN SDN solution, which we call that LAN data center, which call that ACI, Cisco applications centric infrastructure. When we call that WAN, we call that SD-WAN, we call the WebTila SDN solution. Then we have the wireless. In a wireless, we call it SDXs or campus solution. We call it also wireless and campus. We have the SDXs. Then we have the security. In a security, what solution it offer? Like for example, it offer the FTD, it offer the orchestrator, a lot of other things it offers as SDN solutions. Okay, it offers the 1000i, for it offers the a lot of other things. Also, Cisco offers the third is operation automation. Okay, operation, where you have the nowadays is Nexus dashboard, where you have the 1000i. Okay, Then you have the app dynamic, a lot of other applications which provide the operation visibility for the your all the LAN, WAN, wireless security devices. Okay, this is the end-to-end Cisco solution we get from the Cisco. However, what our focus going to be? Our focus going to be the LAN networking, data center networking, which is the core network, core design for the and core concept for the any deployment. So how you use that LAN, WAN, and the security. For example, you have the data center. Okay, you have the one data center here. In a data center, you have the leaf and spine architecture. I will tell you that where you deploy the LAN, where you deploy the WAN, where you deploy the security. Okay, this is the spine switch. This we call that also we call that core switch. Call that leaf here, which we call that access and distribution switches here. Okay. Now, in a security point of view, you connect your servers over here. You connect your servers over here. These are the servers. In a legacy deployment, we used to connect the security devices in a core or in a distribution layer, right? Including the load balancer and firewalls and all. Here we connect that all sort of devices. For example, you have the security devices. Next, call the security devices. It can be firewall, it can be anything. Compare if you compare with the security. Here you have LP. Then you have the WAN. In legacy architecture, we used to have the WAN connectivity from the core in the generation 2 of the data center. Okay. This is the how you nowadays you connect that all the devices. Now, if you come to the wireless networking, you connect your wireless access point and all the things. For example, if you have campus network, you have the office here. Okay, branch office. Branch office you have. In a branch office, you have the something called that access point, WLC, who want to get the internet as well as who want to access the servers or services which are deployed in a data centers. Because it's not possible for each branches. Suppose if you have the banking environment and you have 300 branches, right? For each branches, you cannot provide the you cannot deploy the data center, right? So you deploy data center in a one or two location, and you provide the interconnectivity between the branch offices to my main data center using the WAN. In a branch offices, what you deploy as a access point as a campus and wireless solution. When I say the campus and wireless solution, this is just for the user communication. You have the SSID where you have the guest, production, non-production, all these things, and also you have the compatibility or capability. All the users sitting over here, they can also reach the internet here. Okay, they should be also able to connect to my servers also. Okay, here we call their wireless networking, where you have the multiple campus, multiple buildings here, you deploy the wireless solution here. When you have the security, you deploy the security solution along with data center. When you have the WAN, WebTila, if you have the multiple offices, you can deploy the WAN solution over here, right? To control, to automate the WAN. This is the ACI solution. So everything is, whatever you say that, everything is around your data center networking. So that's the reason data center networking is a much more critical when it comes to the networking. Okay, along with the data center networking, all these wireless security, all these things will be coming in the picture. Everything will be around the data center networking only. Now, it's a different case. For example, you are not a service provider. Okay, you are not a service provider. You are just you have the 10 offices who just need the internet access, right? What you can do here is you can just deploy the wireless solution. You have the multiple branches and they need WAN access. right? You can deploy the SD access as well as the SD-WAN solution for in this case. Okay, SD access is what the advantage here is. So for example, if you're working for the Cisco offices, okay, the Cisco offices, whether you, this is the Cisco WAN, right? And you have the office in a USA, office in a India, office in a somewhere in a world, right? This is a USA. This is Bangalore in India. Whether you are going to North America, whether you are going to the UK, okay, they all will be connecting to the WAN, and they will all have the SD access deploy. Okay, all have the SD access deployment. When I say the SD access deployment, they will use the same sort of configuration replica across the site. If you are working in a USA office, right? So you will access to the USA's SSID, right? SSID, for example, SSID is called. Okay. If you are USA employee come to the Bangalore or it's a North America or go to the UK, the employee does not or do not need to change that any kind of the username password for their Wi-Fi. They can have they can bring their laptop as long as it's a Cisco laptop. They can go anywhere in the site. You will get the centralized access for everything. That's what wireless networking does that. Now, in order to achieve that, that was also legacy networking was possible. Now, come to the access SD access. SD access provides the centralized interface. Since you have multiple offices, it provides a centralized interface to control the all the office networking. To provide the all the office, sorry, to provide the networking centralized interface to control the entire office. Okay, you can push the one click from the SD access controller, and you have deployed here your routing and switches. All the configuration will be updated across the sites here. Similar to the ACI also. So SDN advantage is here is if you're having the bulk data center, bulk branches, bulk WAN deployment, from single interface, you can control all the location configuration. You can make that synchronous configuration. You can make that asymmetric configuration. You can make that active data center, active LAN, active campus. Exact same replica, you can create that. This is the advantage of using the SDN solution. SDN solution, nothing, just centralized interface with the better enhanceability, with better application visibility, better traffic visibility. Okay. Any doubt, any confusion, any question, guys? Okay. I'm assuming I'm taking as a no. So I would suggest that go to the networking website, what we are going to cover, and when the batch going to start, what with the syllabus. You can even download the syllabus from here, right? You can what we are going to cover in automation, what we are going to cover in storage, compute nodes, what we are going to cover, what we are going to cover the local traffic configuration, like monitoring and all, what we are going to cover in the LAN. So we are already given here curriculum, which you can, I think, take a look. You do not need to take that separate for that, and you can get some also feedback from the from the mentors also. Here, what we do and what we have, and what level of expertise we offer from the our side to the engineers. So we all trainers are the corporate as well as the working professionals who has the working experience, and we are currently working with the organization with the latest technology, and we are the one who is going to provide the training with the real time experience, with the real time deployment, with the real time everything. Okay. All right. So I will be ending today's session over here, and from the next batch, I think we are going to start from the I think Yeah. From the next time, we are going to start the batch with a weekend batch, going to be the 2 hour batch for each weekend. It's going to be the 2 hour, and each in this is going to be there is a no time restriction. If I we are taking the batch, irrespective, we target that to complete in 3-4 months. However, if you feel like you need some topic to revisit, you want us me to you know take some topic again and recover that, and if something is not understanding, we are going to cover that topic again for you. So there is no issue with the feedback. You can anytime say that this topic I have not understood that. Could you please repeat that? We are okay to repeat again those topics, as well as we are covering the latest technologies, such as we are our focus going to be the more of ACI and programming and the storage part, rather than covering entire thing, because Nexus 5K devices, 2K devices are running for sure, but they are not the future. Okay, we will talk about the migration plan also. We will talk about the also along with the migration plan, a migration approach with the real-time production environment, and like for example, how you do the layer 2 level migration, layer 3 level migration, server migration, virtualization migration, how you transit that your Nexus to the ACI deployment, how you do a lot of other things from the existing data center. So because of nowadays, most of the customers are in the transition phase where they have the legacy devices, and those devices are Catalyst, Nexus, Aruba, Arista, anything, Dell, and they are transiting into the ACI and or NXOX. We are going to talk about that as well from the scratch uh, in order to complete our curriculum. Okay, and also we are going to talk about a little bit of the designing part, what best practices we should have in a data center, and what we should be having the security best practices in a data center, what should have the protocol label best practices, what should be the design, whether it should be leaf and spine through TIT tier, what should be designed for the compute, what should be designed for the storage. All these things will be covered as part of the CCNP curriculum. Yeah. Anyone?
Yeah,
Anything?
Vijay sir, yeah, basically I'm from service provider background.
Hmm.
As you said, like service providers are also deploying ACI in their data centers. So basically, I'm new in that. So my expectation is that like I know the concept of ACI and how to do configuration through the GUI. Like I'm enough confident post this course.
Hmm.
And sir, I have a better understanding of all kind of traffic packet flows within the ACI.
Right.
And sir, also like basic troubleshooting and also how we can verify such things we did in ACI
Hmm.
via command line interface also. In production network, if there is some issue happened, then you have
Hmm.
to verify through the CLI only. Like in GUI, nobody's navigate those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what we are going to cover in ACI here is, so since you already have the little bit of background of ACI, which is always good for you, right? But we are going to start from the scratch. This means we are going to start with the what is the ACI to the advanced level.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, because many of people will not have the ACI background, what you have, so it's going to be the good learning for you also. But yeah, as I said, you will have more advantage over the when I discuss the ACI design, when I discuss the various type of protocols, various type of features of the ACI, what we can do with the ACI to enhance the performance in a service provider in data center. Because if you're deploying the ACI on Nexus devices in a data center, that's going to be different. If you're going to deploy that ACI with the service provider, that's going to be different, right? Little bit different, not too much. Architecture wise is same, but yeah, protocol wise, little bit of a difference. Like for example, you are going to use a segment routing and all these things, but in data center, we do not usually use a segment routing for the connectivity, WAN
Yeah.
connectivity, right?
Mhm.
These things will be covered, as well as that we are going to discuss the multiple scenario. For example, multi-port, multi-site,
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
port, single site, right? So those
That I'm
things,
asking multi-port,
yes,
multi-site things
yeah,
because all they have multiple data center in different locations. So
yeah. So that's why I've written here Nexus dashboard, right? So in a Nexus dashboard, we are going to integrate with the multi-port, multi-sites. So you will have that kind of
And sir,
in a
do
curriculum.
you know, like when we go with the multi-pod or multi-site scenarios,
So
so
mhm,
sir, what kind of configuration needs to be done on service pod and network also? Like,
yes,
yeah, sir. So those things we will discuss in this sessions, right?
yes, yes. We are going
Mhm.
to discuss all the WAN networking also.
Actually, sir, like I think we all are working in or like about to work on this technology. So
Yes.
we have in like these technology in production network also. So this is very
So
helpful for us.
yeah, so that's the reason I said that rather than focusing on the traditional NXOX, we are going to too much incline towards the ACI. That's what my target is because a lot of the customers are transiting into the ACI. So
Mhm,
we should be focusing too much on the ACI because ACI is also providing the your storage networking also, as well as
mhm,
the LAN, as well as the SAN. Everything ACI is containing nowadays. Even securities also can be integrated with the ACI. So it's a kind of it's kind of entire solution. It's not the device. You cannot say the ACI is a product. No, it's an entire solution which offers a lot of compatibility, a lot of features. For example, it offers the security, it offers the load balancing, it offers the WAN integration. It offers a lot of things, right? It's the entire solution rather than data center solution, rather than saying that it's just the ACI, just a module.
mhm.
Okay. NexOX and Nexus is a module. ACI is the entire solution. It offers the entire ecospace onto that.
So sir, can I ask you one more thing? Like
Mhm,
earlier we have Catalyst switches, iOS switches, right?
mhm.
And layer 3 switches also. So sir, why we need Nexus in data center?
Okay, so these catalyst switches has some had some feature limitations. For example, HA with the active. Okay, some overlay feature. For example, inter data center, if you want to have that with the overlay technology, VPN technology, layer to label, that feature was missing from the catalyst switches. Okay, that's the reason we had the Nexus. Now catalyst switches are also has the enhancement. Okay, so now,
Mhm,
since it has an enhancement for the VXLAN, for overlay technology, for programmability, for better stacking features with the active feature, we call that all the catalyst switches which are coming after the 9000, right? 9000 catalyst model. They do have feature what we have in ACI, sorry, what we have in a Nexus. However, Nexus is a scalable and proven technology since long time. That's why we go for the Nexus devices. Otherwise, so, for example, if you want to enable the SDN in the SDN feature in a Catalyst device, right, for
mhm,
data center networking, that feature is not available. SDN SDN with the Catalyst, we call that wireless networking. Okay, so Cisco has divided the modules. For example, ASR router, ISR router. They
mhm.
dedicated for the WAN
Different.
networking
Mhm,
as Deptila, we call that, right? When we come to the Catalyst switches, Catalyst 9000, Catalyst 8000, even the ISR routers, they also provide the wireless networking. Okay. Now, Cisco said that, you know what, I want to dedicate the, LAN networking also. So say that use a Nexus 9000 for the LAN SDN, right? So Cisco has divided the hardware based on the design. Okay,
mhm,
you can use hardware anywhere in anything anywhere. Okay, suppose if your customer doesn't have the too much money to spend on the money, right? Catalyst switches are comparatively cheaper options, so
mhm,
you can ignore that ACI, right? You can still deploy the catalyst devices here, 9300, 9500 here, right? 9500, but everything going to be the manual configuration. You will not get the SDN feature for the LAN networking here. If you want to enable the LAN, that LAN feature is for the wireless networking, not for the LAN networking for the Catalyst switches.
mhm. So everything is manual.
Exactly, everything is manual. For example, in ACI we get that infra zero touch configuration, right?
Mhm, right.
Zero touch configuration we get that. But here in Catalyst, if you want to get the zero touch configuration, that's for the wireless networking, not for the LAN. Okay, that zero touch configuration is available in Catalyst, but that for the only wireless networking. You can have the few, IP phone and the wireless as well as the voice. Other things you can integrate with the wireless networking. So it's all about the compatibility and protocol support as well as the scalability and proven solution. As long as it's a proven solution, no one want to take the risk, to be honest.
Mhm.
Okay.
So actually, this batch will start from like
Sorry.
so like coming classes starts from what date, sir?
I think yeah, team will confirm that probably tomorrow or from the next week. This is what I heard. So yeah, team can update on that when the next batch is going to be. Most probably from the next week we can start the batch.
So timing will be same or
Timing will be the same. It depends on the majority polls. If everyone is okay with the same timing, we can go ahead with the same timing. If everyone is want to prefer different timing, that's also something we can consider it or we can think of.
so do you provide any materials?
Yes, we provide the recording, we provide the slides, we provide all the configurations. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And we also provide the lab for the 24 to 7. So as I said, if you can directly reach to here, we offer the 24 to 7 lakh access also.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
anytime, anywhere you can access that. Even we provide the ACI lab. That's virtual lab for sure, but we provide the Nexus, we provide all these devices, and also I will provide you that details like where you can access the lab in third party for free, and what type of features you can test over there, what type of you want to do that, even for the firewalling, load balancer, all these things, even for automation, everything we are going to have it with the lab. So my focus going to be the more of lab
Mhm.
compared with the theory. I'm not the fan of the too much theory. So
Yes.
whatever we are going to if I'm going to discuss for example 10 line of the theory part, then I'm going to discuss the 10 line of the lab also, the
Mm,
practical. Okay.
mm, mhm.
So this is my approach will be for the all the CCNP classes. So entire modules for module 1, 2, 3, all the modules.
And sir, like, can we connect you directly or like you will connect
Yes.
only in classes?
No. So you can so after during the classes you can connect me 1 to 1 also. Okay. And you will have my WhatsApp group or something where you can you know ask me
Mhm.
any doubts, any questions during the classes. Even after the classes, 1 month I will be available for you. And
Mhm.
if you need kind of job kind of things, we do provide the job reference for the all the candidates who are interested for the
Mhm.
ACI networking, for the security, for the uh, campus service provider. So your security also. So we have the company enrolled or partner with us. We provide the with the good hike, good salary. If some
Mhm.
is after class or during the class, if you are interested, if you feel confidence, you can just provide us the resume and
Mhm.
updated resume. We can just forward to the partners. They will shortlist you and consider you. Yeah,
So are you
we do
based in
that.
India, sir? Or like,
No, so I'm in the United Kingdom. So yeah,
okay.
so I'm not in India. Yeah,
So we are
location
in
wise.
different time zone.
Yeah, so I'm in UK, London.
Okay.
It's for me, it's early morning. So yeah, it is what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Hey Jay.
Sir, right now I'm working in one of the Bank of America and
Mm-hmm,
working in the architecture of three-tier architecture.
mm-hmm,
And there we have access, distribution, and uh, core switches that like infra. We have data center, one of the data center. Now I'm switching the job in that they are required for the ACI technology. They mentioned that.
mm-hmm.
The interview they will took everything about the MPLS, BGP, and everything. They asked me, but I never worked on the ACI technology. So, which this course will be good for me? That's I'm confused regarding that.
So is we are going to have the ACI here. Okay. So ACI is a major
But
topic in
in a job,
CCNP.
the job which you are offering me that I never work on the ACI technology. That's time. So
So you have to
means
take a
I have
you are hesitating to the learning the ACI. That's simple. Okay. So if you know the
a
three tier architecture, okay. in someday you
Yeah.
have to learn the ACI. You do not have option. Let's go with that only. Okay, you do not have other option apart from the ACI, because the reason I'm saying here is you already know the technology. You already know what is the OSPF, what is the BGP, what is the VXLAN, what is the routing switching, what is the basic monitoring. You already know that. You already have the knowledge of the Nexus, right? Take advantage
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the ACI in that, right? ACI is just another hardware which is Nexus. On the Nexus, top of the Nexus 9K, you're gonna have the ACI image, right? So you just have to
Yeah.
learn the one extra modules, which will be always advantage. It doesn't matter whether you are working in a state of Bank India or switching your job, or in future also. ACI going to be long for like more than 10 plus years. Okay, and
Okay.
this is already so I am working in ACI since 2014. Okay, very first generation when I was in Cisco. So this
Okay.
is the technology which is very much Cisco investing on that. Cisco is not kind of stepping back from this ACI solution. And Cisco, if you go now, even now, I think last week I designed for one customer in finance. Cisco, when you go to the Cisco, when you say that I want to have the LAN solution, data center solution, Cisco never sell that 7K, 5K, 2K now. Even Cisco stop selling the NXOX. Okay, Cisco say that you can
Okay.
have the NextOS, but Cisco 95% of the Cisco sales they sell the ACI solution. Okay,
Okay.
when you have the ACI solution, when as an engineer, as an architect, as a consultant, you have no option but to go for and learn the ACI. And even in service
Okay.
provider also, you are going to have the ACI. So ACI is the ultimate solution for the Cisco in this data center solution. Okay, in India,
Okay.
80% of the customer are moving towards the ACI. Okay, I have worked in a
Yeah.
couple of, right?
Yeah.
Even in a finance sector, I have deployed in a Standard Chartered Bank (SCB) in Chennai. Okay,
Okay.
they are the first engineer. They were the first banking sector.
Mhm.
They had a huge ACI deployment. Okay, and since then
Yeah.
ACI is continuously proving the ACI concept, and it's reliable. More of it's reliable. That's the reason.
Okay.
That's a user friendly because
Because yeah, I am just hesitating that in the new job it will be uh, the not that I have no knowledge about ACI,
no,
that I will.
that's okay. So that's okay. When you start something, you will not have knowledge of that particular thing, right? But eventually, you will get that
Yes.
knowledge, and once you have the device login, simple. Okay. When you
Oh,
have that
yeah.
kind of when you have that kind of offer, when you do not have the knowledge, be confident on that. If you have the interface, it's the same hardware. We are just learning the SDN interface. So take that way.
Okay.
Okay, we are just going to learn the SDN interface with the same hardware. Okay,
Okay.
and
Because we
eventually
are
you
here,
have to
I
do
am
that.
working. Here I am working a catalyst switch 9400 and that catalyst
That's
switches and
okay.
that.
That's okay. It's a good
Uh,
opportunity for you. I would say that it's a good opportunity for you. Okay,
Yeah,
you are.
so this course will be, I think, because we are using the, as you mentioned, 1000i that we are using for the monitoring tool. We are
Yeah,
also using the seven tool for the monitoring,
yeah.
and
So
uh,
eventually, thousand I. So if the Cisco is getting rid of remaining all the tools. They are only focusing on the Nexus dashboard and the thousand I. And the Nexus dashboard, we have insights, a lot of other things, right? So these are the two tools which Cisco is heavily investing on, and they are pushing for all the customer to go ahead with that. And this is the long vision for the Cisco.
okay. I already shared my new job profile with Arun from the networking team. So
Mhm.
can you go through that? It will be. So can you
Oh
guide
yeah,
for me that?
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, Jay, no problem.
Hello.
Because I want to learn from that ACI that I was. So it will
Yeah.
be a good job, means a course which I am taking. That's I want to know. Okay.
Oh yeah, it is a good because you are going to have the ACI module only on CCNP syllabus only here. So what we have in a CCNP here is if you can go to the cisco.com, okay, here you
Yeah.
can get it. In cisco.com in a CCNP there are multiple modules are there. Okay, so if I go to the uh, CCNP DC. In CCNP DC, if you go here, you will have these exams, okay, core exams. In a core exams, if you see the LAN and WAN. In the LAN and WAN, you have the two here. If I open here, you will see the lot of ACI stuff in the core exam. Okay, look here. These are the three. If I go to the review the topic,
Okay.
here you have the all the things like computing, what we are going to cover in the LAN, what we are going to cover. Like look here. Okay, in a compute, what we are going to cover, all these things. So as I said, CCNP is nowadays is all about the ACI and the compute and SAN. Okay, it's not traditional. It's no longer a traditional training which where you have the Nexus, just only Nexus technology. Okay, if you see that even Cisco offers the separate exam for ACI also. So we are going to cover this exam. We are going to cover this exam, and this exam. Okay,
Okay.
this is part of the CCI. Okay, these
Okay.
4 modules will be covered in a concentrate exam. In if you come to the core exam, you have this exam will be covered in the core exam. Okay, where you have the compute LAN WAN. This exam is a part of the CCI curriculum where you connect that all the solutioning design solution. However, as part of this, we offer that this as a half architecture design discussion and all these things. We do offer that the part of the CCNP also. Okay, where we discuss that ACI designing, where we discuss that migration approach, where we discuss that implementation, all the things we discuss that automation, everything.
Okay.
Okay, when in the CCNP you have the 2 types of exam in order to get that CCNP certification. Okay, if I talk about the CCNP exam.
Because I did the CCNP, NRC, and ENCORE. That I
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, in CCNP you have 2 types of exam in order to get the CCNP. Okay, you have the core exam, you have the concentrate exam, concentration exam. Okay, where you have the one core. Suppose if you are preparing for the CCI, right? You just have to give one
Yeah.
exam, this core exam. That's it. Core exam you have to give.
Okay.
If you want to have the CCNP, then you have to give both the exam. One this exam plus one this exam. You have the multiple concentrate exam, right? You can choose any one. Here you have 2 options
Okay.
for core exam. You can out of 2 you can choose one.
Okay.
Okay. Cisco is not is all about the pointing. So point based certification, Cisco require 120 points for that. Something like that. I think, yeah. Or 60 something. Okay. And someone was asking, Arka, you were asking
Yes,
something?
yes,
Okay.
yes. I was asking something. Basically, my background also service provider background. So in my network also Cisco ACI and Nokia and multiple ACI multiple SDN solution was there.
Mhm,
Basic configuration and basic thing I have the knowledge, but I
mhm,
want the depth knowledge, means how this packet was flowing, how this lookup was happening. I have the knowledge of this traditional network, how this lookup, how the packet flow, how the
mhm,
encapsulations happen. But in
mhm.
case of ACI, I just have the basic knowledge, how this a configuration, why do you have to enable this L3 out, how do you have to put this contract. Those concept I have, but advanced levels, how this packet flow, how it was. Going to be impacted whenever we put the contract, how this packet encapsulation happen. So
Yeah.
can those topics will be covered in this
Yes.
course?
Yes, it will be covered in a course. Not to worry about that. So we are going to talk about the from the scratch from day 0 to advanced level ACI. We are not going to leave any topic. Okay,
And
dot
one
to
more
dot with
question.
the flow. Yeah.
Okay, one more question. Actually, in case of traditional network, with the help of Arxer, we can capture the whatever the packet was encapsulated, okay, or decapsulated. So can it be available for ACI also? Because I
Yes.
don't.
Yeah.
Okay,
So in
okay,
ACI
okay.
has span, you have the ER span, you have ELAM, you have the multiple visibility tools, you have the dashboard from the APIC itself, which you can utilize for this kind of troubleshooting. So it's a kind of,
Okay, okay.
and also it's, ACI offer the third tools, which is a Nexus dashboard for the Nexus dashboard inside. which offers the hardware level PSTN and vulnerability notifications. But again, that's the reason I say that ACI is not just a module; it's just an entire solution. It offers the your hardware level monitoring. It offers the packet level visibility. When I say the packet level visibility, it has IP based and the MAC address based level visibility, VLAN based level visibility. You can capture the each and every packet in ACI with the multiple options.
Okay. That's that's okay. That's really great for me.
Yeah. And if I'm looking for the, just give me a second, I'm looking for the ACI syllabus, which I have prepared, what I'm going to cover. Okay. But yeah, it's going to be the end to end for sure. There is no compromise in networking, what we are going to cover, what we are not going to cover. If you feel like this something topic I am missing, feel free to interfere in between and saying that this topic you want to learn. First of all, I will not miss any topic, including the multi-port, multi-site, everything. But if in case you feel like I'm missing anything, you can immediately tell that you want this topic as well. Okay, I will be more than happy to take that.
Sure.
So in this course, it's a Aruba wireless controller, and that will be also, or in
No,
means
no,
how.
no. So we are not going to talk about the wireless network. If you want me to give the overview, I can just have the general discussion on top of that. I do have the Aruba, switches and the wireless controller experience, but no. This is the CCNP Cisco certification, not the Aruba.
So can you
Anyone?
share the syllabus which will be covered in this course? In,
Yeah. So
uh,
this is the networking
particular.
website. Okay. In networking website, you can just simply type it networking, and you can, this is the website. Let me paste it here.
Hello. One more question actually. Uh,
You can
in
go to the
in the
here. Yeah, please go ahead.
no, please complete this.
I pasted it in the chat. So this is the all the details what we are going to cover here. Okay. And these are the syllabus. You can just take that in ACI. We have the concept basic fabric integration, but I think they have mentioned less here, but we are going to have the lot more than that.
Okay.
Let me open the ACI syllabus, what we are going to cover. Okay, I got that.
Okay. One more question. Please, does any kind of virtualization required for this course, or it will be add-on if it is okay?
It will be add-on. You do not need virtualization experience on that. We are going to discuss that.
A little bit you will provide in the. I think it was storage portion. It also mentioned. So
Yeah, we are going to talk about the storage and VMware integration. We are going to talk about what VMware integration. So we are going to talk about
okay, that will be basic part of
basic.
virtualization provided during the storage network, right?
Yes, basic.
And one portion I have seen that is the automation portion. So can you go to the automation? So
Our
how much
main focus is Ansible and Python are going to be our main focus.
the REST API, right?
REST API, yes.
Okay.
Anyone other question?
No, I think it will be okay for my end.
Just
Just only one query. How it's a CCNP data center it will be covered. So if it will be if we require CCI data center, so how much portion we have to need after this course?
one portion which going to be this designing part. This one. Okay, we are covering this one. Part of the LANs and automation, all these things. I'm going to
Yeah.
cover a little bit of this also. Okay, and but not full of this one. It requires a lot
Okay.
of separate classes for this.
So if we are planning for CCI, then like you will teach us or any other trainer?
Yes, either myself or someone else will teach us. It depends on the availability.
Okay. The second, can you tell me which portion it will be great because for the service provider point of view, because how if me and Abdandra, we both are working in a service provider. So our network basically it was previously for totally MPLS based, not for very complex MPLS service provider network. Now it was moving to SA, with maybe some SA and multiple solution was there. So can you know which portion will be better for us? So if you can guide us.
It's going to be the layer three entire solution. I would not say it's specific to the portion. ACI is the entire portion which is going to be the beneficiary for you, as well as before understanding the ACI, you need to understand the entire Nexus product family. Right? ACI is not a solution where you can just simply jump in without understanding of the Nexus, because it
No,
has interdependency.
that's definitely that's the VXLAN and it seems to all these concepts should be required to start the SA, I think.
Yes.
Uh, and so if I planning or if we are planning for this CCI certification or after this course, so which portion, design portion, if we covered it will be okay or
Design,
something?
yeah, only design portion, because ACI is a major task in a lab. So you will already have from this class only. You will have the UCS knowledge also from this class only. So only the design portion you have to, which is the theoretical part. This is not the lab one. Lab one will be I
Uh,
will be covered 80 to 90% in a CCNP itself.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Vijay sir, one more thing, like multicast concept, they are using
Yes.
ACI. So we have depth knowledge of
Please.
multicasting.
Yeah. So ACI multicast will be proven by default. Is a zero trust multicast configuration in ACI. However, if you're having multi-port, multi-site scenario, in this case, a multicast will be discussed along with the ACI. And if since you are service provider,
Mhm.
multicast concept will be discussed in the particular module in ACI layer 3 module,
Okay.
like how you use external RP, anycast RP, distributed RP, all these things we are going to talk. Okay. And
Actually,
these are
I'm
the
asking you because like we have to like prerequisite wise we have to study before.
yeah. So no, so you do not. So you just prerequisite why you can just understand the just one thing. Uh, which I would say the QS, okay,
Mhm.
quality of service. However, ACI gives the flexibility to have the very smooth QS modification. However, if you want to, just refresh yourself, that will be the add-on on this.
Okay, definitely.
Okay. So if you talk about this is the content. Okay. Few topics he's missing here, but yeah, I will be adding here some segment routing and all these things. Okay. But yeah, this is module number one. This is module number two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lot of modules are there, more than 10. Okay. But if you talk about day two, here these are the things we are going to talk about. Talk about integration. This is the migration part. Okay. This is the again design and migration part. This is the design and migration. Here we are going to talk about the firewall and load balancer integration, programming interface. We are going to talk about the VMware integration and any hypervisor Kubernetes integration. Here we are going to talk about OFlex protocol. Again, it's part of the programming only. Here we are going to talk about all the policy model, tenant, EPG, all these things we are going to talk about. Here we're going to talk about all the access policy, like for layer 2 level. We are going to talk about the initialization, all these things, terminology from basic. Okay, so everything will be covered in that phase wise. No need to worry about that. Okay. And also, if you're looking for the like after the CCNP course, I take that one day kind of you know kind of question answer session for the interview. So if you feel like you want to test your knowledge, uh, I do take that.
Okay, that's okay. Or
Yeah. All right, guys. I will be concluding here today. You can reach out
so
to the.
class will be from tomorrow or it will be from next week?
I think from the next week. This is I have to confirm that, but most probably from the next week.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask what will you cover in the complete model? Is it just the theory part or
Sorry, Vijay, your voice is breaking.
Yes, actually I'm traveling. Hello. Actually I'm traveling. I just wanted to confirm that what will you cover in the compute module? This is the theory part
Okay, in the compute model. Okay, got it. So in a compute module, we are going to talk about the UCS as well as the hyperflex. Okay, when I say the UCS and hyperflex, you will have a lot of options in that. Okay, let me open that. Yeah, in the compute module, we are going to talk about the BCs, C-series architecture. We are going to boot from SAN, boot from iSCSI, and how to create the service profile, and how to use the C-series, how to design these using the Fabric Interconnect, how to design and configure using the C-series server without the Fabric Interconnect, how to integrate the span intersite with the UCS, storage management, all this network management, all these things we are going to talk about, the architectural wise. Configuration anyone can do, guys, in a 1 or 2 days learning, right? But you need to understand the product as well as the architectural in depth of the product to get the better understanding of the product. So CCNP is professional level exam or the course where you have to be responsible for designing also product. So you need to have the architectural knowledge of the product rather than having a protocol configuration knowledge. You along with that protocol and configuration knowledge is CCNP based thing. Now you have to, along with the protocol, you have to have the architectural knowledge. Okay.
Okay, so the hyperflex is just a theory or practical also?
We will cover the lab. Hyperflex, we will cover the lab. So 1 day lab, we have separate class for hyperflex.
This is just not a explanation for hyperflex.
Your voice is not clear, Vijay, so it's very hard to understand. But yeah, for the hyperflex, it's going to be the configuration. We are going to do the live vMotion, live migration for using the hyperflex, configuration of the cluster, installing the hyperflex. Everything we will be covering in the hyperflex session.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The course duration will be, sir, how much it will be?
Asking the cost.
Yeah, course duration.
Duration. Okay. Duration,
Yeah.
we target that return here, I think. We target around peak and vest 3 to 4 months. But in Trainer, we are giving the buffer like max to max 4 and 5 months. 4 or 5 months, yeah, maximum. Per week, we are going to target like minimum 5-hour classes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything want to ask? If not, let's conclude that. We'll see you hopefully in next class. Thanks for joining.